Hey, what's going on, guys? Jack here with some breaking news for Hearthstone. It's currently 5:37 Central Standard Time, and it's February 28th. Last day. Um, and yeah, oh my God, dude, this news is actually crazy for Hearthstone. So I was studying, right? I was about to take an online exam before I head off to spring break for my school. But then I check Reddit and I see there's a new Hearthstone post. So this is gonna. So I already saw the post, but I'm going to pretty much go over it through everything. And it's announced that the new year is going to be the Year of the Dragon. So it says lighted up in the Year of the Dragon. And so they first talk about, what they looked in Year of the Raven, and they talk about the ranked experience, blah, 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 blah. If you guys want to read this, go ahead. This talks about like how they want to do ranked ladder stuff. Yeah, and they have a video with the balance people as well. So, go ahead and watch those if you want to learn more about that. I want to talk more about what's going to happen in Hall of Fame. We have some really exciting things happening, and this isn't even the most exciting part. So, there's 9 cards going to Hall of Fame, but I'll give you a bit of a spoiler. Only 3 of them are classic set cards. So this will be Naturalized, Doomguard, and Divine Favor. Naturalized, Druid card, 1 mana. I agree, this should be Hall of Fame because it is a problematic card. It enables too many Druid combos. Doomguard is less so problematic and more so like a product of, hey, Warlock's always going to have this strong charge minion that's going to enable a high end of Zoo to like just run. So I can understand Hall of Faming Doomguard. And Divine Favor, I understand why, because it feels like, oh, there's no real counterplay to Divine Favor because it just synergizes too well with an aggro deck. An aggro deck throws their shit out. They get a lot of value from Divine Favor. And people don't understand that aggro decks are actually value decks, but the value produced from aggro decks they're not like the same type of value that control has, where it's trying to generate a bunch of value. The value they're trying to do is as much face damage as possible, as efficient as possible. So Divine Favor, kind of plays into what aggro wants. So let's look at their reasoning for this. So Druid, flexibility, number of different tools, struggled with having removal, Naturalize effectively nullifies that weakness. And yeah, I agree. Now, the problem is, though, they do have to print better Druid cards next expansion because, UI is rotating out. A lot of Druid shit got nerfed. Druid's going to need better cards, and I do look forward to seeing what the first expansion of the year Druid cards are going to be. If Druid is weak for a while, that's fine. Classes go through cycles of strengths and weaknesses. It does suck if you're a Druid player, so I'm sorry about that, but it's okay if Druid is weak for maybe an expansion or so. Just hopefully Blizzard doesn't leave them in the dust, and they do print things out throughout the year that do eventually help Druid. Okay, Doomguard. Warlocks have long been powerful board, blah, blah, blah. We want to acknowledge the embrace class's weakness, the lose control of the board. To the end, we want to limit the amount of damage a Warlock can deal from their hand. It's a powerful charge minion, pushes against Warlock class identity. Yeah. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. I don't care so much about Doomguard having charge. I just think that Doomguard is more of a deck building problem that just makes it so every time Warlock is going to play an aggressive strategy, you are just always going to slot in Doomguard. And that's more of a deck building thing that's like from a creative like a designer standpoint. I don't really want to always be in the game. So I do hope Doomguard comes back at some point, but it shouldn't always be around, and this is a fine decision. Warlock's hero power is very strong. Having cards like Doomguard don't impact them too heavily. Therefore, Doomguard is a bit, it's a bit too much. And I would like to see a minion similar to Doomguard with Rush. Maybe like a 4-mana Rush minion that has really good stats that discards things. That would be pretty cool. Finally, Divine Favor. So their reasoning for Divine Favor: a number of strong aggressive Paladin decks. Paladin's identity is summoning minions and buffing classes. Card draw doesn't also need to be one of the strengths. That makes sense. It's very cost effective. Provide better control over the power level of future aggressive Paladin decks. Yeah, I think that's fine reasoning. I think Divine Favor more so has the issue of if you draw it into a matchup that you need it as a tech choice, it creates like this very like, oh my fucking god, he dropped his entire board, now he gets to draw a bunch of cards and I can't punish him. So it just feels like one of those low counterplay moments, so it makes sense to Hall of Fame. So yeah. Sorry guys, I have some downloads in the background right now. Okay, so here's the big shockers though. They are Hall of Faming Genn and Baku. Now, what does this mean? Well, these cards are actually from Witchwood, which is not a set that's rotating out. So, one, that means that they're probably no longer going to be openable in Witchwood. Yeah. And two, I don't think they'll be available in Wild, because this isn't a rotation out of Standard into Wild. This is a rotation into Hall of Fame. Oh, wait a second. No. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, wait, they'll be playable in Wild. I'm stupid. Yeah, these aren't just banned. Yeah, these are wild. That was my bad, guys. I for some reason I had a huge lapse. So Genn Baku will still be available in Wild. Hall of Flame moves things into Wild. My bad. So they're going to stay in Wild, but they're pretty much out of Standard now, which is very weird because it's 1 year before they would actually rotate out. And what this also means is that you'll get dust refund for Genn Baku. So you should actually craft Genn Baku right now, because you're going to get a dust refund for them anyways. So you might as well craft them right now, and then when you get the dust refund, you'll have them in Wild forever. So there's no point to not crafting Genn Baku right now. Unless they say like they're not going to give you dust refunds or something. And then with Genn Baku, get rid of here, no video. With Genn Baku, they're also getting rid of these cards that had to do with the even odd package that were introduced in there, and it makes sense to do so. So yeah. Now, before we get into the evolving single-player experience stuff, I do want to talk about what other expectations I have for this. So I'm a bit disappointed that they aren't Hall of Faming Divine Favor. Or not Divine Favor, the Priest card. The Divine... It's the one that doubles your minion's health. They're either not nerfing it or Hall of Faming it. That's a bit disappointing to me, because I think that card is... Priest combo has been around for a long time, and it seems a bit ridiculous that stays in the game for so long. Because, I mean, it's a very problematic card, as you can see from APM combos and Wall Priest. So that seems rather problematic. That's the biggest one I can think of. The biggest offender that I like wish got Hall of Famed. I mean, this is coming from a Control Warrior player, so yeah, so that's a thing. This is very interesting though, because I don't know where Warrior will fit afterwards, because Warrior was a heavy abuser of Baku. Warrior loved abusing Baku for the odd hero power. Unfun, unhealthy, because it was polarizing, because you smashed aggro and got dicked by control and combo, or some combo, the non-damage combos, the alternate win condition combos like Mechathune. But, yeah, this means that Baku Warrior is gone. And that also, Warrior Quest Warrior is rotating out too. So I don't know where Warrior stands after rotation. I hope Mech Warrior or Dragon Warrior are good. Hopefully, since this is the year of the dragon, there's more dragon synergy, and I'd actually like for a more aggressive oriented dragon warrior like the old days. But if it's defensive oriented, because you have the scale dragon that gives you the 5 armor, and the 7 mana one that does 7 damage, I'd be fine with that if there was a value like control warrior or dragon warrior. Just as long as, I mean, the problem is other decks are still going to exist, like Mechathune Warlock, that's going to exist. Genn being gone means no more even Shaman, no more even Warlock, more importantly. Even Warlock was one of the best mid-range decks in the game. Odd Rogue was already suffering after the nerfs to Cold Blood. Odd Mage will suffer. So Mage actually doesn't hold a good position either after Baku rotates. So it's very imperative that they print good cards for Mage. Warlock still has control decks. They still have the Mechathune deck, which is very important. So I don't think those classes, some of those classes will be hit too hard. But yeah, I'm so curious to see what happens after this. And, I'm fine with this choice. They're acknowledging that they've made a design mistake, but I would prefer if they just didn't get slotted into Wild, because this doesn't solve Wild's issues, but Blizzard still seems very confused on what they actually want to do in Wild. Okay, so more importantly though, yeah, so I wish they got nerfed, instead of just, or not nerfed, but changed, instead of just being rotated, because Wild stays fucked. These cards, I mean, no comment really, because it's kind of what happens, like, you rotate these out, you have to rotate these guys out. Okay, so that's what's going on with Hall of Fame. You'll get dust refunds on all of these things, at least, and you don't have to disenchant them. So my recommendation is to craft all of these cards and then get the dust refunds once they come, and then you'll have these cards, plus you'll get the extra dust if you choose to disenchant them later, if you don't play Wild. So go ahead and craft these, unless I'm wrong. Please let me know if I'm wrong about that, because I don't want to give bad advice for how you spend your crafting, your dust, because that's pretty much, you put time into the game where you spend money on it, and that would be a waste of time. But based on how they Hall of Fame things in the past, you should be able to craft these, and then once they get Hall of Famed, you should get the dust instantly back without having to dust the cards itself. Alright, now we can look at the single player experience. So this is the part that I didn't read. I rushed home and I was like, okay, there's going to be some stuff. I'll read this live. Taking a new approach to solo adventures. They really like Dungeon Run. They want more customization and hero powers. First solo adventure of the year is going to happen in about a month after the first expansion. Okay. A mysterious yet familiar new mage character. Alright. Players who want to dive even deeper into the story can unlock additional chapters as they're released for 700 gold each, or purchase the entire experience. Okay, so this is an adventure, a $20 adventure, pretty much. There's 2 new characters to play with 2 new heroes. You'll earn 3 card packs from the new After completing each chapter, you'll earn 3 card packs. And for completing all 5 chapters, you'll get a card pack and the Golden Classic pack. Okay, so for this to be worth $20, it needs to give you legendaries like the old adventures used to, I think. Otherwise, it won't be worth it unless they give you a shit ton of packs. But yeah, the old adventures used to give you what, like 5 to 10 legendaries. It depended on which adventure, and they were $20. Super efficient. Those legendaries were very impactful. I love adventures because I think they're thematically very cool. Like they really bring characters to life more than expansions do. I know Blizzard's been working real hard to make the expansions feel more genuine and have more stuff in them, but ultimately adventures, have more effort put into them in terms of like how things are thematically, which is why it wasn't as profitable for them. So I understand why they got rid of them, but this adds more content to the game. This is good. Hearthstone needs it. And I'm glad this post came early. I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, but the important thing is it came early so that, it came early, and the more frequent you tell me things are going to shake up, the more likely I'll play Hearthstone. So here's what awaits you. This highly replayable solo adventure will unlock the course of 4 weeks beginning in May. So yeah, really cool. Looking forward to this. I love adventures. Even if I have to spend 20 more bucks in the game, adventures were always efficient cost-wise. I hope this is worth the money. Arena experience. We're always looking to ways. We'll be updating Arena Draft Pool. Following sets. First expansion. Okay, so they're changing up the draft pools. Adding new ones twice every expansion. Okay, cool. So for people who like Arena, this is going to shift up Arena, and that's really good. I think that Hearthstone needed a format that combines old expansions and new expansions, but keeps some out instead of just everything being in like Wild. And if Arena ends up being that format, even if you don't really get to choose your deck, it's still cool to see these synergies exist. I do hope Arena continues to improve, and that'll make me more interested in playing it. All right, Fireside Gatherings. Guys, even living in Chicago, I honestly haven't seen any fireside gatherings around me, so this doesn't apply to me too much. But hopefully you guys live around some fireside gatherings and can get more rewards for it. So read into that if you are interested in those things. Here's some new improvements coming. So re-rolling legendary quests. Okay, so you can reroll legendary quests now, okay? Not really worth it because legendary quests are better, but if you do want to. Random card back option, really cool for people who have a lot of card backs. Smarter deck builder. More ways toward Golden Hero. Winning Arena now counts. Logging into the game between March 25th and April 2nd will reward you with 1 pack from each of the... okay, so that's cool. Extra packs. Make sure to log in during this time period. And a constructed brawl. Award the classic pack. Okay. This is great. I love this expansion, or this announcement. I'm really excited for it. I'm really looking forward to see what Blizzard does in the future. Year of the Dragon, dragons are fucking awesome. That excites me. Please bring Blue Eyes White Dragon. As a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I'd love to see some cool, some really cool throwbacks to a certain Japanese trading card game with certain characters like Seto Kaiba and certain... Oh, imagine if they make mech dragons. I'm just saying it now. Warriors have mechs. Please make cyber dragons, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Cyber Dragon player, and I'd love to see some cyber dragons, Blizzard. That would make me spend a lot of money, but... Okay. So overall, I'm really happy about this post. Obviously, Blizzard, whenever a Blizzard post comes out, I'm very happy about it because more stuff happening in Hearthstone means I'm more likely to play it. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how things changed. I would do it a bit differently, but this is a good way moving forward. But that's going to be all for me today. This is some breaking news, and I hope you guys really enjoyed hearing what's happening. And I hope you guys are excited too, because, I am. Anyways, this is going to be Jack, signing out and wishing you all the best. Peace.